Welcome to Simply Bitcoin, where we talk about the Bitcoin news, the fails, the meme reviews, just in general Bitcoin culture and world news, really from the perspective of Bitcoin plebs. Anyways, this is a special edition. I'm on the go, guys. I'm traveling currently in Tennessee, visiting Bitcoin Park. I was going to visit Bitcoin Magazine today. I was actually going to record this episode from Bitcoin Magazine, but I had some stuff to take care of in the morning. Anyways, filling in for Phil is the legendary Optimus Fields. He has been doing the Sunday shows, which you guys see on Monday. So he's going to be co-hosting with me today. Phil gets back next week. So we're going to get back to the regular episodes. Tomorrow, I'm actually going to be traveling. So I'll let you guys know whether we post an episode. But the day after, 100% Optimus is going to do it with me. I'll let you guys know. But anyways, Optimus, let's get to the numbers.
Number time!
Brought to you by Nodl. They make some of the best Bitcoin nodes, like the Nodl Dojo. It's in red. That means it's faster. Also made of metal. This is hand-built by the Nodl guys in Paris. Run your own version of Bitcoin Core and the Lightning Network, all in the comfort of your own home. Remember, guys, if you don't run your own Bitcoin node, you're trusting someone else's. That's a big no-no for privacy, so get yourself a Nodl today. At the time of this recording, the Bitcoin price is $30,135. Sats per dollar, also known as Moscow time, 3,316. Market cap, 574 billion. Bitcoin held in corporate treasuries, 1,660,000. Blockchain, block height, 739,942. Total capacity, 3,976. Reachable Bitcoin nodes, that number continues to go up. We are at 16,132. So again, what I've been saying for the last couple weeks, really last couple months, really since the last all-time high in November, Bitcoin has become the new stable coin. We've been chilling at this price. I know we've gone down too, but we've been consolidating for a pretty long time at 30K. Not that the price matters, especially if you do what we advocate for so strongly on this show, which is just dollar cost average. Use Bitcoin as a savings technology rather than looking at it as an investment, and your life will get better because it's a deflationary currency rather than what we have today, which is an inflationary currency, meaning your purchasing power goes down over time if you earn and save in fiat, versus your purchasing power going up over time if you save and earn in Bitcoin. But anyways, Optimus, what do you have for us today during the numbers?
All right. Thank you, Nico. Well, I'm back, guys. You guys are stuck with me on the numbers. So let's see this. I saw this trend, guys. I'm pretty sure we covered this already, the two first stories, but we're going to cover it because it talks about a little bit of framing, and then we're going to get some news that we came across yesterday. So as you guys can see, there's a story from Yahoo Finance, and it says only 12%, and notice the framing right off the grip. Only 12% of Americans have used crypto, mostly for investing. So I bring this stuff up because we are seeing Bitcoin get adopted in real time, not only in the Western world, but in third world countries. And it's absolutely beautiful. But since we are Western centric, I want to give you some Western numbers and then show you how they frame it and then show you what's actually happening in the world. So as you can see, 12% of Americans, or 40 million individuals, use cryptocurrency or Bitcoin and shitcoin last year, largely as an investment and not as a currency. So it says 11% said they bought or held Bitcoin and shitcoin for investment purposes, while only 2% used Bitcoin and shitcoin to buy something or make payments. Another 1% used to send money to friends or family. So as you can see, they're suggesting that only a small amount of people are investing, or quote unquote investing in Bitcoin. And, you know, Bitcoin isn't a currency. And here we go. This other story came out from the European Central Bank. And again, they're saying the same exact thing. There is adoption happening and they are afraid of it. European Central Bank reveals 10% of Eurozone households owned crypto or Bitcoin and shitcoin. So May 24th by the ECB indicated that 1 in 10 households in the Eurozone had purchased Bitcoin Bitcoin and shitcoin, such as Bitcoin, with the wealthy being just marginally more likely to possess some than the poor. So as you can tell, they're framing this as only rich people are going to be buying Bitcoin, and only first world people with financial privilege will be buying Bitcoin. And as you can see, again, it says 10% of the homes, with the ratio ranging from 6% in France to 14% in the Netherlands. And again, 37% of respondents reported having Bitcoin and shitcoin worth up to about 1,000 euros, while 29% had Bitcoin or had between 1,000 and about 5,000 euros. 13% held between 5,000 euros and 10,000 euros. So again, the wealthiest 20% in each country were the most likely to possess Bitcoin and shitcoins, although a bigger number of families with lower incomes reported holding more cryptos than those in the middle ground. So again, the framing of only rich people will be having Bitcoin is the narrative you hear from Western media. And even this little quote right here, on average, young adult males and highly educated respondents were more likely to invest in Bitcoin and shitcoin assets in the countries surveyed. So again, this is going into the, only white males will be the Bitcoin holders, and it's really fake news, guys. This is just the legacy media framing things in such a way to basically scare you away from Bitcoin, because they understand what it really means. Bitcoin is financial inclusion. And as you can see, this article, which sparked this whole thing by Alex Gladstein, was an article about this Indonesian platform, Pintu, raising 113 million. But that wasn't the news story. The news story in here was this quote that Alex Gladstein added, and there were 12.4 million crypto investors in Indonesia as of February 2022. And I did a little digging. This article right here, it's got a paywall or subscribe newsletter wall on it. So unfortunately, I went to CoinDesk. I found the same newsline. They told the same story, and here was a good quote. This is coming from Chief Marketing Officer, and he says that the amount of investors or people using Bitcoin and shitcoin in Indonesia has more than doubled since February of 2021 to 2022, from 6 million to 12 million. So that's the signal, guys, that despite the rapid growth, however, the Indonesian market is still relatively new to Bitcoin and shitcoin. This makes education about Bitcoin and shitcoin's investment a key pillar to support the growth of the market. So again, guys, I say all that to say what we've been saying for a long time, that Bitcoin adoption is happening as we speak, and it may not look like it is in the Western world because there is legacy media actively fudding us and telling us that it's not happening. But we know better because we see what's happening in these other countries, third world countries around the world, adopting Bitcoin, whether it's Bitcoin mining or just simply people hodling Bitcoin. This is happening as we speak, guys. So if you're being bearish right now because the price is looking down, it's going sideways, first of all, you should be excited because it's an opportunity to stack. But second of all, guys, Bitcoin is doing what it says it does in real time. Bitcoin is real. Bitcoin is everything you think it is, and those are the facts, and there's nothing anyone can say about that because the truth is the truth. The truth is on our side, and them are the facts. Nico, what are your thoughts?
Man, first of all, awesome putting the dots together. Different articles all really confirming what we have been making the argument for, which is this silent revolution, as Alex Gladstein so well put it, right, is taking place, right? And what's striking is, right, it's estimated in the U.S., according to those articles, as 12% adoption. And in Europe, it's very similar. It's about 10%. And then you're hearing, of those crazy adoption numbers from the developing world, even though Indonesia is actually, it's not that poor of a country. But you're hearing this all over the place, and especially in developing countries even more, like Venezuela, like Argentina, like different examples, all the African countries that we've talked about, right? This is happening. And what's even crazier, right, is the adoption by the younger generation. And look, time isn't moving backwards, okay? Like, it's not, right? So if the younger generation is the one adopting Bitcoin and shitcoins the most, right, eventually that younger generation will become the older generation, right? So yeah, this is extremely bullish, and this really just confirms the argument that we've been saying, right? And this is why we don't speculate on the price very much, because the price is speculators and traders moving the price up and down, trying to get the edge on somebody, right? But as you've seen in Bitcoin's history, it really goes up and to the right versus fiat that goes down and to the right. I was like down to the left, no, down and to the right, right? So yeah, this is absolutely bullish, and it really confirms what we've been saying, right? So, and you definitely want to start stacking before 50% of the world's population owns Bitcoin and shitcoins, because you're going to be paying that much more. But anyways, Opti, it's time for
the Daily News.
Brought to you by Swan. Check them out, swanbitcoin.com. That's right, the best way to build your Bitcoin stack, automated Bitcoin savings plans, instant purchases, an app on the way, a platform that is built by fellow plebs. The link is down below.
I guess this is just going to be a bullish episode because, I totally, and Phil doesn't plan it, and Optimus doesn't plan it. When we take care of each individual segment, we take care of it. Like, we don't coordinate who's going to cover what, and we really believe that kind of adds a lot of the magic to the show. So the reason I kind of went on a little side note is this is just very bullish, right? You have adoption news in the beginning, right? A tenth of America, a tenth of Europe apparently owns Bitcoin and shitcoins. And this is just Michael Saylor, big Michael Saylor. Optimus soundboard, please.
What's the second best? There is no second best.
Exactly. There is no second best. Anyways, here's Saylor on CNBC. Let's see what he has to say.
You've made a significant bet on Bitcoin. So if all of this maturity occurs and if you see all of this flush cash getting wiped out of the system, this, in a sense, leveraged money, could that then be that you see Bitcoin coming down considerably and just not ever reaching any kind of particular lofty height, and then you stand to lose quite significantly?
We don't see it that way. We actually see it the opposite, which is the big question forever has been, is this real? And if it's real, is it going to be banned? The deniers said this wasn't real. And of course, they're being discredited as the administration and Congress and regulators embrace Bitcoin. And the skeptics have always said, well, it's real. It's better than gold, but it's so good. It's too good to be true. And the government's going to ban it. So if the deniers are wrong and if the skeptics are wrong, and it's pretty obvious they're both wrong at this point, it's not going to zero. And if it's not going to zero, it's going to 1 million, because it's obviously better than gold at everything that gold wants to be. And if it was just worth what gold's worth, it'd be 500,000 a coin. So I really think we've crossed the chasm there. With the bill that was put on the Capitol floor today by two senators, a Democrat and a Republican, and with Janet Yellen's speech at American University April 7th, where she recited the legend of Satoshi Nakamoto and explained why digital assets are critical to the future of the United States. I think now that that's happened, people are realizing that this is a real thing that's going to be with us. And Bitcoin is, like it or not, it's unique. There really is no network in the world that has its level of adoption or its level of security. And if I put $500 billion on the table and gave it to you and said, create another one, you couldn't create another Bitcoin for $500 billion right now. So I'm very bullish about where we're headed from here.
So a little bit of things that you guys probably didn't notice. First of all, Michael Chad Saylor, being Chad Saylor, absolutely bullish. And check this out. He is live from Annapolis, Maryland. Annapolis is very close to Washington, D.C. And coincidentally, the David Zell letter that was sent to Congress that we covered on yesterday's episode was released on the same day that the bipartisan bipartisan so-called crypto bill, what we call the Bitcoin bill, was introduced into Congress by Senator Lummis and a Democratic senator as well. And the reason I'm pointing this out, right, is because this is a combined effort, okay? And at the end of the day, the guy was right when he said in the beginning of the video that Michael Saylor did place a significant bet on Bitcoin, right? So this is all hands on deck, right? Chad Saylor is involved, and at least influencing or at least educating some legislators in the background process, right? Or else he wouldn't be. And why else would he be in Annapolis, right? Why else would he be in Maryland, right? He would be in Miami because that's his main residence, right? But anyways, again, that's speculation. But again, it's a very big coincidence, just like the David Zell letter. This is a really good article. It talks about the intricacies of how Michael Saylor purchased all that Bitcoin. And it really talks about basically that a lot of it was through loans. So Michael Saylor has everything at stake. He really went all in here. I really believe that if this doesn't work out, MicroStrategy will go bankrupt. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because Michael Saylor is on the same boat than us plebs, right? Because us plebs, right? I know Opti's this way. I know Phil's this way. We're all in. We've been all in. We've been on a Bitcoin standard for a while now. Opti and I, we became friends really during 2017, 2018, during that era, right? The bear market. So again, yes, Saylor's a billionaire on paper, but he really did go all in like the rest of us. So he is going to feel the pain just like the rest of us during Bitcoin's volatility during this bear market, or people say it's a correction. I don't know, but he's in the trenches with us, and he's playing his part, right? And of course, all the things that he says are incredibly bullish. And the thing that he said about the $500,000 Bitcoin. The $500,000 Bitcoin, if Bitcoin reaches the market cap of gold. We actually did an episode a couple days ago on how Bitcoin is superior to gold in every way, in the custody aspect, about how Bitcoin is significantly easier to custody than gold. It moves the balance of power from the state, from the collective, from the mob to the individual, right? It gives the individual the leg up in terms of custody. It's also a lot easier to transport than gold, right? So just on those two things, worst case scenario, just Bitcoin reaching gold's market cap, it's a $500,000 Bitcoin, right? So it's very enticing. Anyways, it's a lot of signal there, Opti. There's a lot of signal there, right? And you also have Senator Lummis and Senator Gillibrand, which is the Democratic senator that co-sponsored the bill, doing a lot of TV as well. So clearly, there's some pressure. There's definitely some pressure in DC on a lot of these politicians. And look, a lot of people in the comments today were saying that, hey, maybe this bill is not going to get passed. And I tend to agree with them. I don't think this bill in its current forming is going to get passed. But the good news is that at least it's going to expose which politicians are on what side of the football, right? So anyways, those are my thoughts. Optimus, what are you thinking here, bro? Am I reading too much into the Annapolis location? It just looks like it's a very big coincidence.
Well, you definitely went Nico Jones on me, because that was something that I had missed. So now I'm sitting over here like the numbers meme, I'm like, oh my God, Nico's right. What is going on here? But to your point, I think you're making a great point, because I forget at what point it was, but I remember just recently this year, or maybe the end of last year, when a lot of this Bitcoin political talk was happening, there was a moment where the Bitcoiners, oh wow, that's so close.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Are you trying to tell me he's just vacationing here on the same day or weekend that the same week that the infrastructure bill that has so much significance in his investment, and you're telling me that he's not there on purpose? I'm just saying, bro.
No,
Just a
dude,
thought.
you're 100% right, and it reminded me, like I was saying, of there was a moment during when Bitcoiners, I forget what it was exactly, because we've been making a lot of noise down in DC, but there was a point where Bitcoiners like called all their congressmen and senators, and they were like, "We have never had this much like hoopla over anything, and you guys are flooding our phones and everything. Like this isn't going to go through." So I say all that to say, guys, Bitcoiners, I'm first one to tell you guys I'm basically like apolitical. I'm not the most political guy, but I do think there's an advantage to having people like Michael Saylor, like David Zell, like Nico, advocating for people to be political and battling the Leviathan, because this is where it's headed, whether we like it or not. Like, you know, they're here. Bitcoin has hit the mainstream, and they're going to try to put themselves in between you and Bitcoin. That's just the way it is. And so we will need people to fight against that. You know, whether that's going to be some political grifting or not, who knows? But the point still stands that we do need it, because that's the battlefield. And the second point is your first point you made about Michael Saylor. He is like a pleb. It reminded me of what Friar Haas used to always say: if you want the price to be stable, put your nuts on the table. And guys, this is the way. Like you can't have 2 feet in the old, like 1 foot in the old system, 1 foot in Bitcoin. It's not going to work out. And I tried to do it myself, but I'm telling you guys, life's so much better when you're just fully in Bitcoin and you realize, like, look, the fiat world is melting around me, but I'm fine because I own Bitcoin and I'm creating the life I want to live on the Bitcoin standard. It's a solid foundation, and it's going to be here, and it freaking feels so good to see it happening with billionaires. Like it makes us plebs know that, like, wow, we've been on the right path when rocket scientists, billionaires are doing the same thing as us. So
Exactly.
Shouts out to you plebs.
What do we call Chad Saylor? The billionaire pleb? It's kind of contradicts.
Well,
anyways,
pleb. The thing about plebs, it doesn't matter your stack; it's about the mentality.
Oh, okay. I like that. See, Optimus Fields and his Optimus takes. Anyways, it's a pun, bro. It's a pun. Okay. Is it? I don't know. Anyways, okay. So we've talked about. We actually called this. So the last 2 years, really, you've seen mainstream financial applications start to offer Bitcoin. We saw Robinhood, we saw PayPal announce it, and of course, why did they do it? Especially a company like PayPal, right? Bitcoin really disintermediates a lot of their business if we're right. We said that they couldn't ignore Bitcoin's incentives, right? And they also couldn't ignore the competition. At the end of the day, PayPal is a public company. Robinhood is a public company. And Cash App's sales on just Bitcoin alone were astronomical. And they were doing very, very well. Well, Cash App had a feature that PayPal and Robinhood did not. Cash App had a withdrawal feature, right? Robinhood and PayPal, if you buy Bitcoin on those platforms, you can't withdraw it, right? So you're very cucked, really, on what you could do with that Bitcoin. It's not really your Bitcoin, right? It's really the state's Bitcoin. And a lot of people fall for this trap. But like we predicted, just on market forces alone, Robinhood and PayPal were going to have to offer withdrawals just to keep up with Cash App. And that's exactly what happened. We were right about Robinhood, but Robinhood actually announced it during the Bitcoin conference. And we reported it on that video that we did a couple months ago. Here's the official post just to remind you guys. All eligible waitlist members now have a Bitcoin and shitcoin wallet. Lightning Network is coming to Robinhood. Why are they doing that? Are they doing that out of the goodness of their heart? No, because they're trying to compete with Cash App, and that's what Cash App is doing already. And today, which is why I wanted to cover this, PayPal folded. This was a tweet that came out. We're excited to announce that PayPal will begin supporting the transfer of Bitcoin and shitcoins between PayPal and other wallets and exchanges. Let's check it out. This is the official press release. We are thrilled to announce that starting today, PayPal supports the native transfer of Bitcoin and shitcoins between PayPal and other wallets and exchanges. The feature has been consistently ranked by users, right? This is what I was saying. as one of the most requested enhancements since we begin offering the purchase of Bitcoin shitcoins on our platform. Available now to select US users starting today and rolling out to all eligible US customers in the coming weeks, this new functionality lets PayPal customers transfer supported coins into PayPal, move Bitcoin and shitcoins from PayPal to external Bitcoin and shitcoin addresses, including exchanges and hardware wallets, send Bitcoin and shitcoins to family and friends on PayPal in seconds with no fees or network charges to send or receive. Now, that last part is very menacing because a lot of people use PayPal. So if they stay within the PayPal ecosystem, oh man, it doesn't really solve the problem. Allowing PayPal customers the flexibility to move their Bitcoin and shitcoin assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, or Litecoin into, outside of, and within our PayPal platform reflects the current continuing evolution of our best-in-class platform and enables customers to interact with the broader crypto ecosystem. Customers who transfer their crypto into PayPal can extend the utility of their crypto by spending using our checkout with crypto products at millions of merchants. And you know who's also doing this? Cash App. So again, the beauty of capitalism, right? Competition. All these companies are just trying to get more profits. They're trying to get more customers. And in the process of trying to get more customers, they have to add more features, right, to stay competitive with their competition. So now we have Robinhood, PayPal, Cash App, all allowing withdrawals. And if they allow withdrawals, it allows people to take self-custody of their Bitcoin. And like I always say, guys, if enough people take self-custody in this peaceful revolution, we win, right? So very, very bullish news. And we predicted it correctly. Just on the game theory, baby. So anyways, Optimus, what are your thoughts on this, brother?
Well, I feel it's super bullish. First of all, I didn't come up with these comments I'm about to say. It's actually more of what Dieter Bob was saying, but I agree 100% with him. And he said, first of all, that this would have been super bullish news if PayPal was just a Bitcoin only company and it didn't have that, that shitcoin stench on the side of it. And then furthermore, I agree with what Nico was saying about this just being super bullish. And furthermore, like it seems, if you allow me to speculate a little bit, it seems like in the past, news of this caliber would have pumped the Bitcoin price. So right now, the fact that it's not, I think gives credence to the idea that like either people aren't paying attention or because the shit coins are attached to this, it kind of, knocks out the oomph of this. But Nico is 100% right that just you can't fight the incentives. Like if you want Bitcoin products, if you want to participate in the market, you're going to have the products that people want, the services that people want, and that is self-custody. You need to have self-custody or you're not using Bitcoin, and these people understand it. So it's all about incentives. Find where the money's going, and they understand they're losing market share. They need to find out a way to innovate, and if they're not innovating in the Bitcoin space, well, they're going to get wrecked. So they better follow what we're doing and saying, and that is self-custody. So what's Nico we say? Coercion, or what's it? Incentives are
stronger.
Coercions.
Correct. So yeah,
here we go.
Soundboarded, bro. Oh man. But yeah, dude. Very bullish news by Saylor. Absolutely slaying it on live TV like always. Maybe he's influencing some politicians in DC. Very bullish news by PayPal. PayPal has a big ecosystem. Hopefully enough people take self-custody. But that's the job of the plebs. That's an educational matter. Now they give you the capability. So it's really, it's the responsibility of people to educate enough people to take self-custody and what the power of self-custody is. Optimus is pointing at you. But anyways, Opti, it's time for
the Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Citadel 21. It's the best Bitcoin cultural zine. It's stories, articles, comics by actual Bitcoiners. Every volume has different artwork. This is the artwork for volume 10. This is the artwork for Volume 2. It's almost sold out. And this is the artwork for Volume 11. And they're scarce. There's only 1,000 physical copies per volume. So get your physical print of Citadel 21 today before they run out. All right, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Meme Review, where we review Bitcoin memes. They play an essential role, not only in Bitcoin culture, but in this narrative trench warfare that we're fighting every single day, hand to hand on the internet. Anyways, first meme by Corn DeLorean. Bitcoin doing the old Bart inverse Bart pattern. It's absolutely crazy, bro. It went from 31K back to 29K back to 30K. This is what I'm saying. Bitcoin is the new stablecoin. Anyways, next one by Promethean Hodl. What should the tax exemption be? 200. No, 600. You guys are paying taxes on transactions? All right, well, we have no comment on that, but absolutely hilarious anyways by Promethean. Next one by Pay Your Taxes. Next one by Hodl Tarantula. Your world on a fiat standard is based on exactly this. Why people can't see the truth. This is really interesting. Sometimes we cover images that really serve the same function as memes. And I thought this was really interesting. So I put it on the little guide thing that we have that we use every day for the show. This is Yuri Bezmenov. If you don't know who this is, I really suggest stopping the video right now, going on YouTube and typing this guy's name in. And he predicted a lot of the cultural and social problems that we're having today. And again, he came from an ex-communist country. He escaped the Soviet Union. He defected to the U.S. And he had some really interesting takes. So anyways, let's check it out. His first quote: "Exposure to true information does not matter anymore." Does that sound familiar to you? A person who is demoralized is unable to access true information. The facts tell nothing. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents and pictures, he will refuse to believe it. Think about the last 2 years, how familiar this sounds. That's the tragedy of this situation of demoralization. Once people's morals have been debased, education becomes indoctrination, entertainment becomes hypnotism, criminals become leaders, and lies become truth. That is very, very, very powerful. That was so powerful, I thought that was the last meme. That's how powerful it was. Anyways, moving on to the next one by Rothmus. Boogaboy1776 has joined the chat. Yeah, hello, fellow radicals. That's absolutely hilarious. Pubby. Legendary Pubby, shout out Toxic Happy Hour on Twitter Spaces. If you're new to Bitcoin, always remember that time in the market is more important than timing the market. This is what we've been saying. This is what I said in the very beginning during the numbers section. We advocate strongly for DCA. Anyways, check it out. 2022, 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018. Opti and I we're not veterans, but we've been here a pretty darn long time, right? And we could pretty much tell you that the way that you learn is really just time in the industry, time in the market, learning about Bitcoin, putting in the work. Saylor says it takes about 100 hours to really understand what's going on. I would say that as well. It really does take time. It takes listening to podcasts, takes reading really good books, really good Bitcoin books. There's plenty of them. And just kind of getting an understanding of what is money? What is money? What is inflation, right? What is this stuff going on? What does it mean? And then you start to put two and two together. Now, this is really interesting. And then I'm going to kind of connect it with this, right? With the Yuri Bezmenov, what he said with his quotations. And this is a screenshot, and this is by Phil Kerpen. And we heard about this. We heard about Google Docs essentially restricting what type of data could be on there or not. Your file violates Google Drive's terms of service. Remember, Google Drives, they aren't your documents, right? Not your keys, not your documents, I guess. If you aren't self-custodying your documents, they're not yours. I guess the same logic applies. but yeah, they froze it, and apparently it's because of malware or similar malicious content. What does malicious content mean? What does that mean, right? And this is relating to the pandemic, right? I'm not going to get into the details of it, but let's just say, and I'm sure a lot of you guys, especially if you're watching a Bitcoin show, you're definitely a little based, right? You could definitely think back in the last 2 years and start to question, certain decisions by certain politicians, specifically the coercion of an experimental medicine, and what the results were of that. And it's interesting because when someone starts to compile data that goes against that, this is the things that start happening, and then connect that with the quotes that Yuri Bezmenov had to say, right? So, anyways, for that, Opti, I'm going to give this very special score of my shitty but cheap hotel room. It's not that shitty. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. Anyways, Opti, what would you give those memes?
Awesome memes. Before I go and give my score, though, that Yuri meme, those comment or quotes, like, man, that hit hard. That's oof. I'm seeing that in real time, and in hindsight, oh my god, man, that one hit hard. Anyways, I'm giving my first obscure non-Bitcoin score today, so it's super high. It's just 2/3 drink a gallon of water.
All right, water is super important. If you don't drink it, you die, and that's bad. So definitely drink water, and hotel rooms are cool too, because if not, you'd have to live on the street, and that kind of sucks. But anyways, Opti, it's time for
the Daily Fail.
Brought to you by CryptoCloaks.com. They make some of the best 3D printed Bitcoin merch, like the famous 3D printed Bitcoin grenade toy. Comes in any custom color your heart desires. This just happens to be gold. Because it's gold, it's the one that I show off the most. Look, it's shiny. Or you can get it in simply Bitcoin colors. Really? You can get it any custom color your heart desires. Also opens up. There we go. You put your favorite hardware wallet in there. Or you get the 3D printed Bitcoin Honey Badger. And you can take advantage of the promo code down below to get 5% off.
So I'm here to do the Daily Fail. Hopefully I can do Phil justice. Anyways, here we go. Let me share the screen with you guys. So first on the news story, I know we've been telling you guys for weeks now that we were going to stop on the Terra Luna fails. But guys, they just keep adding up and they keep coming out. So we got to cover them because this is what we do here, and it's always a learning lesson. So as you can read here, guys, Terraform Labs employee in hot water for stealing company's Bitcoin. So they not only rug pulled on their depegged stablecoin, but apparently an employee was stealing Bitcoin from the company. So Saylor, how do you say that again? Soul.
Yeah.
Hey, Optimus can't read. Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency launched an investigation against an employee from Terraform Labs who is allegedly involved in the embezzlement of corporate funds in Bitcoin from the company in May. The South Korean police stood by its findings that the employee's unlawful act was purely personal and did not involve Terraform Labs founder Do Kwon. So there's that, guys. Wink, wink. Following an investigation conducted by Seoul Police, authorities requested a freeze to the employees' funds in crypto exchanges and then proceeded with an inquiry. Anyways, as you can see, this just talks about the Luna fails, Luna 2.0 fails. But here is probably the best fail of this whole thing, besides the fact that he was stealing Bitcoin from the company. So LFG, or the Luna Foundation Guard's objective was to protect the Terra investors. So this sentence at the bottom, I think, sums it up really good. The Luna Foundation Guard was designed to protect Terra project investors. One of the main objectives of the group is to keep Terraform Labs adhering to guidelines in the administration of the UST stablecoin. So guys, literally the employees that were hired or created this foundation to protect investors, in their own words, is embezzling and stealing Bitcoin from the company. So again, guys, not only are you the exit liquidity, but you're the turkey on Thanksgiving. So quit giving these people your Bitcoin because they're running away with it blatantly. And it's getting super obvious at this point, but you guys continue to do it. Nico, before we go on, do you want to add some 2 sats?
Dude, not only did they rug pull, the employee pulled the rug pullers. Just a rug pull upon a rug pull upon a rug pull. It's typical shitcoinery. Happens all the time. Yesterday we covered $113 million rug pull. Why do all the rug pulls happen in the shitcoins and not in Bitcoin? And that's the signal. But anyways, Opti, what is the next fail, my friend?
Yeah, rug pulls all the way down, guys. It's quite amazing that people are still falling for this one. And this one was probably the best fail. And it was Narwhal Tacos. He said that we left a bad taste in his mouth with the fails, but I think today's fail is going to be one that leaves a good taste in your mouth because it's absolutely bullish if you read between the lines. So, of course, if you see here, the St. Louis Fed tried to dunk on Bitcoiners, and they tried to compare the US dollar versus Bitcoin price. And if you see this post, they are insinuating that eggs are getting more expensive if you hold Bitcoin. And, of course, Bitcoiners don't trust, they verify. And so we go to their website, and, if you look into this chart, it's, wow, it really looks like they are telling the truth. Well, zoom out a little bit, and this top chart is average price eggs in dollars. So let's check out what they're talking about. So the original chart was 2021 to 2022. Well, it looks like eggs are getting more expensive in dollars. Okay, let's see. Oh, and there's a good tidbit in here. The St. Louis Fed talking about Bitcoin smallest unit known as Satoshis. Guys, it's our meme world, and they're just living in it. They're talking about sats, guys. Like,
wait, hold on, because it's funny because in its so-called Satoshis, like that's shade, bro. Like you could tell it's so-called. Oh man, they're so mad. They're so mad.
It's hilarious. It's like they're trying to dunk on us and they just reverse dunk on themselves. Okay, so here we are. Here's a chart of price per eggs cost in Bitcoin. So let's zoom out because, Bitcoiners tell you zoom out. And wow, would you look at that, guys? It looks like eggs are getting incredibly cheaper on the Bitcoin standard. So even when the Fed tries to dunk on Bitcoiners, they dunk on themselves, and it just proves that we're out here winning, guys. This is hyper Bitcoinization happening. This is what we tell you every single week. Get on the Bitcoin standard and your life becomes cheaper. Look, the Fed is giving you the data themselves, guys. Like, we don't even have to look for it anymore. They're literally giving us alley-oops, guys. Like, we are winning so hard. Nico, jump in.
How long until they get rid of that metric? Like, how long until they get... Look, that whole article, like, if you read the words, it's telling you why it's volatile, the so-called Satoshis, all of this mumbo jumbo. But if you just zoom out and look at their data, it tells you a whole different freaking story. Oh man. And I want to pull up Optimus, if you stop. Yeah, thanks. I want to pull up this website, Priced in Bitcoin, which we reference all the time. And it's not only eggs, right? And this is what we're talking about, the power of a deflationary currency. And yes, they have eggs up. They have eggs here. And eggs, actually, if you price them in Bitcoin, they've gotten 60% cheaper over the last 3 years. And they've gotten 85% cheaper over the last 5 years. So that little tweet was just so insincere. It was so malicious. It was propaganda. That's what it was. It was pure, non-factual propaganda. They would like you to believe something that isn't true. Yes, on the short term, I will give it to them. Bitcoin is volatile. I'll give you that. But at least Bitcoin is volatile on the way right and up, right? And fiat is volatile right and down. So really, again, we're advocates for the Bitcoin standard, right? Using Bitcoin as your unit of account, and you'll see things will get cheaper if you use Bitcoin as a savings technology. To use Odell's famous quote, if you stay humble, stack sats. Anyways, those are my thoughts. Opti, you have some closing thoughts?
No, bro, just keep winning out there, guys. Keep stacking. Like, don't let them fudge you. This is us winning, and it just shows that you can't meme without truth on your side. Like, that's the fact. Like we say it every week. The truth is on our side, and that's why our memes always hit. Like, look, they tried to dunk on us with their fake propaganda narratives, and the truth was like, yeah, nah, this is reality. Now sit down and acknowledge it. So Bitcoin's winning.
And it's only been 10 years, really. It's been roughly a little bit more than 10 years. It's only been 10 years. What about what happens in 20 years? Are they still going to be posting that chart? I guarantee you they'll get rid of that chart before then because it doesn't fit their narrative, dude. But anyways, Opti, there was a website by Plebe.
Websites by Plebs.
Brought to you by CipherSafe. Check them out. CipherSafe.io. Paper's dead. Don't store your seed on paper. Store your seed in the Cypher Wheel or the all-new Cypher Grid. They both come with a tamper-resistant wire, and the grid comes with a punch tool.
All right, everybody. So, we actually talked about this yesterday. And the reason I'm bringing it up today is because it's a very important event. And this was shout out to David Zell of the Bitcoin Policy Institute. And they released this on the same day that Senator Lummis introduced the Bitcoin legislation. And now we know, thanks to that CNBC video, that Saylor is in the Washington, D.C. area as well. That's all a coincidence. Of course, none of that's related, right? Or at like this very famous broadcaster says, there are no conspiracies, but there are also no coincidences. And it's a really cool website, and you could see who this letter, which I suggest you reading it, was signed for. All activists from different countries. You have Leopoldo Lopez, which is political opposition leader in Venezuela, right? You have Yeonmi Park, which is the North Korean. She escaped North Korea. You have, of course, Alex Gladstein. You have Fode, which we actually had on the show. Oh, we've had a couple of these people on the show. And I suggest you read the letter. Obviously, we don't have time to go through it, but like I said yesterday, it was directed to both political parties, Senate majority leaders, and both political parties, House leaders as well. And it also links some legacy media articles on there from the Wall Street Journal, from Forbes, from Reuters, from New York Times, from Bloomberg's, from the Financial Times, all, according to them, reputable sources, according to Simply Bitcoin propaganda media. But of course, that's just our take. Anyways, guys, that was our show. I want to give a very special shout out to, of course, our clothing sponsor. I wear them every single day. Phil was here. He'd be wearing it too. And Opti just got his care package, his Represent care package sent to him. This is the camo hoodie, representltd.com. They're making Bitcoin merch soon. They're making Simply Bitcoin merch soon. And you can take advantage of the promo code down in link description to get 10% off anything off the representltd.com online store. Guys, that was the show. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. And of course, if you want to continue hearing the Bitcoin news from the pleb perspective and the catastrophic fails from the same perspective, definitely consider subscribing to Simply Bitcoin. And we'll try to see you tomorrow, guys, but if not, we will see you again on Friday.